Okay, now, like I said in the bio, this guy right here, I call him Superman. He's part of Bio Bootcamp, the book, and he's with his girlfriend, Nicole, and they are just like fitness fanatics. Let me see. Phil and Nicole, are you there?
Yes.
All right, all right. So you know what? You've done a lot for me as far as being my trainer. And trust me, everybody can't. An acquired taste. Like everybody just can't train me. You see what I'm saying? So you did a great job with me. I've been seeing what Nicole has done online. You have some fitness tips that people can implement that can help them even get the ball either going or even go further, correct?
That's right.
All right. So talk to me. What type of tips are we looking at?
Sure. So we have 5 tips, and they're mainly centered around staying consistent with your exercise routine, because that's kind of what we hone in on the most. There's nothing specific that's gonna make you become, the fitness expert overnight or anything. There's no particular one thing. We're really big on consistency and just let results happen over periods of time. And so that's exactly what our 5 things kind of revolve around, and that's how to stay consistent for a long time and to get good results. So, and the first one that we want to talk about, it's more of a mental trick, and then we'll get into kind of tangible things afterwards. But that first little trick is to realize that being consistent with the fitness routine actually creates time in your life. So a lot of people use the excuse of, I don't have time to work out. But what they don't understand is that if they did create the time or make the time to work out, they could turn their 24-hour day into a 26-hour day, because they're going to become more efficient and do more things productively throughout the day. So you actually create time and you feel better. So tip number 1 is to understand that whenever you exercise, you're not taking time away from your day, you're actually adding time to it. And Nicole's going to come with the next 2, and then I'll come back in.
Okay.
So our second tip is to make sure you schedule your workouts. I feel like this is a super obvious one when everyone's like, oh, obviously I'm going to schedule with my trainer. But let's say you don't have a trainer, or maybe you're in a group type of situation where you have to hold yourself accountable. So something we talk about, which is pretty truthful for my online clients, the difference. If you're going to the gym and you schedule time with a trainer, you're going to feel really bad if you don't show up just because someone's standing there waiting for you, right?
Right.
But if you're just starting on your own and you don't have anyone, or maybe you have just a community that you're kind of working with, it's going to be a little bit harder. So something I tell a lot of my online clients when it comes to their programs and the way that they're built out, you still have to schedule the days you're going to do it. So make sure, if I use Google Calendar, and then we integrate our app with it, but make sure whatever it is that you use on a daily basis, where you see your work schedule at, or whatever that reminds you, go to this meeting or go to this meeting, you need to put go work out on there, and whatever time frame it takes you to take a shower and get ready after. It's kind of like a meeting with yourself. So you're holding yourself accountable. So there's no reason for you to be oh, I forgot, put it on there, make it happen. And then the next one is going to basically be the structure of working out. So it doesn't have to be as complicated as people think. So we have 3 pillars within that structure. And
Okay.
that's going to be frequency, strength training, and then supersets. So frequency is the base idea, the old, which this is where getting a trainer comes in handy, because it's really based on your goals. If you want that bodybuilder body, then we can talk about maybe the time range should change. But for standard weight loss, people just trying to get in the gym, just maintain a healthy body, you don't have to be in the gym for 2 or 3 hours a day. So frequency of doing some type of activity or working out, even if it's 30 minutes a day, 4 times a week, is much better than 2 a week for 2 or 3 hours. So then we also go into strength training. So where that comes into play is just the base idea, and it's very common knowledge. If you have muscles, your body will continue to burn fat, in your sleep. So people get into this mind cycle of thinking I'm just going to do cardio all the time just to like burn fat, burn fat, and burn fat. But if all you do is cardio, you're just going to be on that everlasting cycle, and you're just going to be working to burn what you're eating. So strength training is super important because muscle is what's really going to help keep that off and help you sustain and maintain a really good body and your diet. And then it actually helps you to be able to eat more. Once you build more muscle, it actually helps you move into a diet where you can have more calories. Then the next one.
Wait. So when you say that, so you're saying if I build more muscle, I can eat more pizza, is what you're saying?
If that's what you want. I'm not always going to suggest pizza on everything.
That's exactly what I want, Nicole.
We can consult Mr. Lovelace on that.
Right. We don't have to bring Lovelace in there. I'm talking to you right now.
But I mean, talk to freaking Brian Shaw. That man eats so much food. But anyway, so number 3, we're going to talk about supersets. So basically, like not wasting time in the gym. So like, let's say your focus is like a chest day, you can superset with like your triceps or even like a type of pull action. So you're still working on like push motions, but you might superset with some pull motions. I call it pre-activation, but just kind of working on some other muscles. Or maybe if you're doing some type of plank, trying to hit like this part of your shoulders, you might also work on some core, and then you're getting a lot done in a shorter amount of time as opposed to just one thing at a time.
Right. So the first 3, so as we look at it, we're talking about really pretty much number 1 is making the decision to work out regardless of how busy your schedule is, knowing that you're going to be more efficient, more productive from that whole situation. And that 2 is really the extension of that by just making it from an accountability standpoint, putting it on the calendar, making sure you get dinged and scheduling that whole situation to make sure that you make it happen. And then 3 is pretty much the workout types of techniques of how frequently we need to work out, what type of training to work out, and supersets, which is kind of like A, B, and C under the third one, correct?
That's right.
All right. So you about to hit me with number 4, Superman? What we got?
Yeah, number 4. And just to clear it too, I want to make sure everyone knows what a superset is. Basically, what a superset means is that you're doing 2 exercises in a row without resting. So
that's your 1 set.
And that's only 1 though, and then you do it again. So just to make sure everyone's clear on what exactly that means. So you get more done in less time. And then, number 4 actually flips the switch a little bit, something different that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it needs to be brought up. And that is getting enough sleep at night. Because if you don't sleep well at night, the next day, you're just not going to be as productive. You're not going to make as good of decisions. It's going to be a lot easier to pass on that workout, even if it does ding on your phone and you're like, oh man, because you didn't sleep well. You're probably not going to make the best dietary choices. Also, it's really hard to battle through that fatigue and do the things that you know need to be done. And what I recommend to make sure that your sleep does get on point is a nice evening routine. You hear a lot in like the entrepreneur space and all this stuff about a morning routine. But the problem with the morning routine is if you don't get up in time to actually be productive, you don't have time to do the morning routine. So the way that you battle that is to have an evening routine the night before to make sure you get to bed on time, and then also you get nice efficient sleep because your body is actually ready for bed. So an example of an evening routine, I'll just give you mine. That is, I know that the next day I always need 2 sets of clothes. I need my work clothes and I need my gym clothes. So I set out my 2 sets of clothes, one ready to put on, and then another in my gym bag, right? And if I do that, then I kind of like take a look at my calendar for the next day and make sure that however many meals that I need to prepare for the next day, because maybe I'm gone all day, I get those together. And then the next thing that I do is fill up a big water bottle with water. That way, when I wake up in the morning, I can just grab it and drink. I don't have to worry about getting water together because getting hydrated in the morning is really important. So you want to attack it the night before. Don't wait until the next day.
So the night before, you lining up all the ducks, so when you wake up, you could just knock them down.
That's right.
Every one of them.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You have to set yourself up for success. And
Right.
when you get into that routine, it's like your body knows that time to go to bed now. And
Right.
you'll fall asleep a lot easier and a lot better. And you'll wake up feeling better, being able to make good decisions all day and get in a quality workout.
Hey, you know what? The other part to that I want to just kind of, as you said, you can go to sleep feeling a lot better. Doing some of those things the night before shuts your mind off because they're done, right?
Very much.
It's not because so many times we are thinking about all the stuff we need to do for tomorrow. But if you set all of that up, that'll be that's a great situation to where you can rest really.
That's right. Because if you lay your head on the pillow and you're like, oh man, I didn't do X, Y, Z.
Right.
You're not going to sleep good. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly right.
All right. That's a good one.
So
number
5 is accountability. So what I mean when I say accountability, that's have a friend, have your spouse, brother, sister, cousin, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. It doesn't matter. It can be yourself also. And I'll give you a tip in a second on accountability with yourself. But having another human being to be accountable to is the best way to do it. So like as an example for us, Nicole cooks dinner 95% of the time. Yeah, and does all our meal prep. So she will make dinner or meal prep accordingly with what we have left in our dietary budget for that day. Even if that means something that I eat and she eats is a little bit different, but we have that accountability for each other to make sure that it happens. Because if it wasn't for her, I might just throw something else together that's not exactly perfect, but she makes sure that that happens for me. So having that accountability partner is super helpful. The other thing that we do is we'll review each other's calorie intake at the end of the day. So if you know you have to turn it into someone and someone else is going to be looking at it with you, then it's a lot easier to stay on track. So having another person to be accountable with is huge. Now, if you don't have someone, which if you really think real hard, I promise you can think of somebody. But if you just really can't, a way to be accountable to yourself is a daily written journal is a really good way to be accountable to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, this can be part of that morning routine, is to write down some of the things that you need to get done that day and check them off as you go throughout the day. And it's a nice feeling of accomplishment as you check those things off. And there's a lot of technology right now. And I've tried different, ask Nicole, like I've tried so many different like apps, my iPad and stuff on websites for this, but I just always come back to a handwritten journal because there's just something really fulfilling about it. So that's a way to stay accountable with yourself if you don't have anyone else.
I think with the apps, it's so much easier to just like, we get so many other notifications.
Right.
You just like brush it off.
Yep.
You already ignore a lot of notifications unless you like have to answer it. Like if you get emails from a bunch of people and then you have an app that's like, do this thing, you're like, shut up.
Yeah. Our digital lives are so,
bombarded
here and there all day long. So
right.
Like reading real books.
Yeah.
So I used to try to be accountable, but when I was, and this is just, I just want to talk to you really fast and just kind of vent really quick for others that are watching this that may fall in the same category as me, because we kind of learn from each other and support each other. I actually had a guy that I was telling him I was doing my squats at home, but he didn't believe me, and that was very debilitating to to my psyche, to my motivation, to my self-confidence. So you have to make sure that you pick the right guy. When you tell the guy you're doing 6,000 squats at home, 10 sets of 600, he needs to believe you. That's what it is. So
you have to actually do it. Biggest thing, number one, make it happen.
Right. So we'll talk about that later. I don't want to argue with you in front of all of these people. I don't want to argue in front.
I'm just curious what you did to combat that. Like what?
I'm sorry?
I'm just curious what you did to combat that problem.
I just did lunges and didn't tell him. I was like,
Okay.
I'm just gonna do like, I went from 6,000 squats to doing like 30 lunges, and I just didn't tell him. I know that's a big difference, but anyway, we're not gonna talk about that. Tell us about Only the Greatest, OTG. What do you guys do over there?
Yeah, so Only the Greatest. We do have a gym that's in Webster on the south side of Houston, where we do private personal training. We work with people mostly on a one-on-one standpoint to tailor a program just for them and what they need. And Nicole and I, both of our past is a little bit different. Me personally, I grew up really overweight, so I can relate really well to overweight people. And I know how it feels and the process that it goes through. You want to tell them a little bit more about who you like to work with?
Oh, I wasn't even ready for that. Okay.
Well, I wasn't ready for this, so.
Yeah, so I work really well. I guess my specific clientele, girl or guy, but usually females that have been through some kind of trauma per se, really work well with me. My parents died when I was really young. I've gone through different physical and sexual and mental abuse throughout my whole life. So, and then I have 3 or 4 big major traumas that I've really kind of broke through. And then I have epilepsy, which if I've dealt with it my whole life wouldn't be a big deal. But I just now got hit with a brick wall with that, and have been recently having to kind of shred through that. So I really I don't say dealing with people, but kind of teaching people that deal with different medical problems that it's not I have to give up and I can't. It's just figuring out how can you do the best version of you. So, and that's my biggest quote, I guess, is just finding the best version of yourself, because as long as you're working towards something, you can still be healthy or the best version of yourself. So I just really like working with people that are really low in their self-confidence and bringing that back up, whether that's weight loss or just getting a little bit more healthy, or finding the schedule that works best for you. So that's usually pretty fulfilling for me. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we want to get across to people is that Only the Greatest is a lot more than just lifting weights. It's about becoming the greatest version of yourself and feeling good about yourself and fulfilling your potential as a human being. Because if you're constantly feeling bad about yourself, you're not getting around very much, you're eating poorly, and you're not, exercising, you're probably not living your best life. So that's the biggest thing that we want to get across with Only the Greatest, is that it's a lot more than just working out. We want to help people and show people that it is possible to live a great life, no matter what age you are currently, and no matter what your current situation is. Because if you saw probably either one of us 10 years ago, it's a lot different than what you're seeing now. So we just want to show people that no matter where they are now, it is possible to reach a great potential.
And to top on that, just a few client comments even recently. And this is with online training too. On the phone with someone yesterday, some of this stuff makes me cry. I'm oh my God. But just one of the biggest compliments I've gotten, and she was literally just saying you make me feel like I can do anything because you can. And she's seeing your story, and I'm so happy to see you share stuff, and you helped me with this, this, and this. And then I have another client that's literally told me, you've completely changed the way I look at everything. It's not just about getting nutrition.
Yeah.
And then one more, and then it just makes me so happy, because it's not people think oh, you're just a trainer. A lot of what, at least in my programming for seriously, is a lot more mental. Is just teaching people most of your issues. Everybody knows you can get nutrition info and training, and there's an abundance of information. A lot of it's here. So a lot of what capacity for what we do and what I do is a lot more mental training, and then obviously giving people the information they need and being that accountability person, and of course give you programs and how to eat and all that stuff. It kind of works out really well. But
got you.
Now,
number 4 was about getting rest, and so we're going to talk about this, right? So as we talk about the gel, you talked about it in the book a little bit. I know it's something that you really talk to your older clients about, because you guys are pretty young. So tell me what your experience on the gel and how you feel about it.
Yeah, the biggest thing with the gel is exactly what Nolan just talked about, which is sleep, making sure that you get quality sleep. I definitely noticed a difference in my sleep whenever I started using it. You feel more rested at night, and you wake up feeling ready to attack the day. And for me, that's obviously it's in our top 5. Getting a good night's sleep is kind of that foundation to everything else. So that's my biggest thing with it. And I think Nicole has her own experience.
Yeah, sleep was definitely a thing. And then I'm gonna tell you, since I was young, my hair has never grown. Like, it took me 6 years for my hair to get this long when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like, look at those luscious locks.
Well, I see them.
Look at those curls.
I see them.
Remember, it was probably like, and I'm serious, I'm being, hold on. Like, where's a good one? So, all right. Like, okay, I have to look down. So, like, when I was a kid, like 15, young, it took me like 5 years to get like this much.
Right. Okay.
It's like,
and so the gel has thickened your hair some?
I don't know what else is. Maybe it's my nutrition or eating, but my hair's gotten really long, really fast.
Well, so. It does grow hair, so it's absolutely one of the benefits of the gel. And the older you get, the better this stuff is. So I absolutely want to thank you guys for being a part of it. Phil, I want to thank you for being a part of Bio Bootcamp, the book. We have at the end of this, we have some information about when the book is going to be released. Because I know you just sent in some of your edits and things like that. So we do have an up-to-date situation on that. Anything you want to say before you go?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I know that hopefully take these tips very seriously. They seem really basic, and they seem like not that big of a deal, but I'm telling you, if you want long-term results, take them very seriously and just do it. And I promise that your life will only get better if you commit to these things. And that's pretty much it.
How can people find you guys?
You can find us pretty much across all the social platforms. If you just search for OTG Fitness, Nicole's Instagram is at Nicole Fit.
Nicole_F1T.
Yep.
And it's the one with like 20-something thousand followers, not any other one.
Not the fake ones.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if you just search for OTG on Instagram or Facebook or anything, you'll find us. And you can shoot us an email at our names. Mine is just Phil, F-I-L, at otgfitness.com, or Nicole at otgfitness.com. And yeah.
I-C-O-L-E, just because some people spell it weird.
Yeah, feel free to head over to Google or Facebook or anything like that. Read some reviews of what some of our clients have experienced. And yeah, they speak for themselves. So I don't need to say anything more than that. Just go read what our clients have had to say.
All right, cool. Hey, I want to thank you guys. We're going to come right back in a moment, and we're going to have some other speakers giving you some more knowledge at this health summit, Bio Bootcamp Live. I'll be right back.